Greetings to everyone out there in the NoDQ galaxy. Welcome to the NoDQ live recap of SmackDown Live for, I believe it's August 6th, 2019. I'm back. Hopefully everybody can see me. Now, you may notice that the video format is different here. I found out what the problem was last night, and it's something very bizarre, something that has never happened to me before. I cannot do live streaming right now on the NoDQ channel in landscape mode. I have to use portrait mode for some reason. I have no idea why this is the case. I tried a test stream on my personal channel and I did it in landscape mode just fine. But for some reason on the NoDQ channel, I have zero community violations, no copyright strikes, no issues whatsoever with the channel. I cannot do videos in landscape mode. I am just perplexed, not sure what the deal is, but for now, I will continue to do the videos here. If I have to do them in portrait mode, then so be it. Some people told me they like it better. The only problem is that this weekend in Toronto, I may be doing videos with a group of people, and portrait mode doesn't really work with a large group of people, obviously. So I may, if this is still a problem this weekend, I may have to do the recap videos for TakeOver and SummerSlam on my personal channel. So if you're not subscribed to the personal channel already, which if you're a fan of my work, you should be subscribed to that channel, head over to youtube.com/AaronRift. And of course, this is youtube.com/AaronRift, NoDQ. Now, let's go ahead and get started with SmackDown Live. I would like to give a shout out to Hank Schrader on the shitter with a $5 super chat. So Hank Schrader, he says, and your new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, the Goddess Alexa Bliss and ... Nikki Cross. By the way, not pumped at all for SummerSlam. Well, thank you, Hank Schrader on the shitter. You were the first NoDQ Super Chat champion of the evening. I will talk about Raw more since I did a relatively short video last night. After I'm done with SmackDown, if you guys want to throw me some comments or questions about Raw, I'll give some more of my thoughts on Raw. All right, let's get started with the SmackDown recap. Of course, SummerSlam is this coming Sunday. We kicked off the show with a Charlotte promo. Charlotte talked about how the commoners, the people, they failed to achieve greatness. Charlotte said that Trish Stratus sees the greatness in Charlotte and it eats her alive. Charlotte then said that Trish will never be as good as her, and Charlotte said the athletes of today are superior to the superstars and the athletes of Trish Stratus's era. Charlotte said that Trish has this dream of going into her hometown of Toronto, winning the match against Charlotte in front of her hometown fans and family. Charlotte said she is going to crush those dreams. She is going to shatter those dreams. This led to Trish Stratus coming out saying that she does want one more match because she wants to prove something to not only the fans, but also herself. And then the crowd started chanting "what" at Trish Stratus, which was quite interesting. A sign to me that they were not really fully invested in this storyline. Trish did get I guess somewhat of a pop by quoting Harley Race. Charlotte then said that at SummerSlam, Trish will bow down to the Queen, and that's when Trish got very offended by this comment and slapped Charlotte, and Charlotte merely just walked out. Again, I thought that this was fairly weak of a segment, just like last week. Something about their chemistry, the whole thing just feels very forced, very thrown together. Just doesn't have a natural flow to it, in my opinion. Hey, let's do a current star against a past star and just throw them out there and it'll stick because it's a dream match. It's not like Hogan versus The Rock. It doesn't have that feel like I'm watching a dream match that I've been wanting to see for years and years. I just don't feel it. So yeah, this promo, like last week, did not really do anything for me, unfortunately. Then we had a recap of the Goldberg appearance on Monday Night Raw. Again, maybe I'll talk more about Raw in just a little bit after this recap if you guys want to know more of my thoughts about Raw. We had Goldberg's music hit, and instead of Goldberg coming out, we had Dolph Ziggler come out mocking Goldberg's entrance. Wow, that's never been done before. By the way, shout out to Mike B. He says it's an awesome t-shirt. You can pick up this t-shirt over at NoDQ.com/shirts if you're interested. Lots of content, lots of material over there for you to check out and possibly purchase. Anyways, back to the recap. We had Rey Mysterio versus Dolph Ziggler. Another one of these segments where the heel jumps the babyface before the bell can even ring to start the match. I'm like, come on now. WWE does this way too often, and to me it's just very lazy writing, very much filler. You had a super kick delivered to Rey Mysterio, and that's when Ziggler got on the mic, said, another legend goes down, courtesy of Dolph Ziggler. Ziggler said that Goldberg will be next at SummerSlam. Yeah. That's when Mustafa Ali came out, and I'm still going to call Mustafa, damn it. Mustafa Ali came out to take Rey Mysterio's place, but Dolph Ziggler still got the best of Ali, pinning him with the super kick. Future number one contender for the U.S. title, losing to Dolph Ziggler, who in turn is going to lose to Bill Goldberg in 3 minutes. Yeah. Moving on here, we had a recap of all the stuff that has happened to Roman Reigns over the past 2 weeks. The big dog was interviewed by, what's her name, one of the female interviewers. I think it was Kayla Braxton, but don't quote me on that. Roman talked about how, at least with the cancer, he knew what was happening to him. He doesn't know what's going on here. He doesn't know who's attacking him. WWE has offered him personal security, and Reigns is like, I'm a man's man, damn it. I don't need personal security. Reigns then apologized to Samoa Joe for having Joe's name dragged through the mud. Obviously, it wasn't Joe that was driving that car and not Joe that was using that forklift to drop stuff on him last week. Roman Reigns then said he would find the answer. He would figure out tonight who was responsible for taking him out. We had another Harley race video package shown, the same one from Raw. And you know what? Great video package. I love it. But at this point in the show, I'm like, this feels more like Raw than SmackDown. It feels more like just a repeat of what we already saw on Raw. Can we get some fresh content? Can we get something different? That was my thought process at this time in the show. I guess if you were going to repeat anything, the Harley race thing is a good thing to repeat. It was a great package. Very, very classy tribute to him. But yeah, I was starting to feel like, why did I even tune into this show? I mean, if it wasn't my job, I'd be feeling like, why do I even bother with this? Next up, we had Natalya come out, and another Raw recap was shown from what Natalya did to Becky Lynch. We had Natalya versus Ember Moon in the battle of the number one contenders for SummerSlam. Natalya, once again, like on Raw, in heel fashion, put the sharpshooter on Ember Moon on the outside of the ring, got counted out. There was a female referee, by the way. I'm not sure her name. I think she's been working in NXT. Somebody out there might be able to throw out that name for me. We had Bayley come out to pull Natalya off of Ember Moon, and Natalya just walked to the back. Kayfabe Candy Ass says Michelle Chioda. Well, thank you for that, KCA. I appreciate it. We had the Kevin Owens show. Kevin Owens said he just wants to get to the point. He demanded that Shane McMahon come out there. Shane did come out, and Hamilton did the intro. The best in the world. But Kevin Owens quickly grabbed the mic from Hamilton, and Owens made a request to Shane. He asked Shane to put his career on the line, just like Owens is doing at SummerSlam. Shane was like, no. Shane said he has all these different ways he can get rid of Kevin Owens. Owens can lose by pinfall. Owens can lose by submission. Owens can lose by countout, DQ, and so on. And he just wants to get rid of Owens, and he's not dumb enough to put his own career on the line for Owens. I was figuring something would happen here where Shane would get so enraged that he would put his career on the line, and this would be how WWE would write off Shane. Although the problem with that is nobody buys into the retirement stipulation anyways. I mean, when was the last time it happened other than maybe Shawn Michaels putting his career on the line? And even he eventually came back. I mean, at least he didn't come back for 9 years, but for the most part, I don't think people really buy into the retirement stipulations. It's dumb. It's a dumb stipulation to begin with because very rarely does it actually play out where somebody goes away and doesn't come back for an extended period of time. We had Shane McMahon say, let's not wait until the pay-per-view. They started to fight, but then Elias quickly jumped Kevin Owens. Owens fought back. Again, I like how the current guys are being the punching bags to set up a Shane McMahon match. You know, Drew McIntyre being the lackey, Elias being the lackey. Elias got hit with a Stone Cold Stunner. I refuse to call it a Kevin Owens Stunner. He got hit with the Stone Cold Stunner on the announce table, and then Shane McMahon attacked Owens again. Owens was on the ground. Shane flipped over the announce table, did a drop kick using a chair, basically RVD like the coast to coast, but not jumping across the ring, doing a drop kick into the chair, into Owens' face. And then Shane was yelling at Owens, saying it's going to be all over at SummerSlam. And that was that. That was the final build. So, yeah. I guess this was all right. And we'll see what happens at SummerSlam. Next up, we had a Sami Zayn promo. And Sami said that Alistair Black responded to his challenge by silence. Sami Zayn talked about how Black is terrified about not being able to live up to the hype, and that's why he's hiding in some dark room. All of a sudden, Alistair Black's music hit, and Alistair was rising up from his coffin. He had a microphone, and he said that the SummerSlam match is actually happening right there on SmackDown. Alistair Black defeated Sami Zayn with the Black Mass, and I guess WWE decided to thankfully cut down on the SummerSlam card a little bit. We had the women's tag team title match. By the way, if you guys watched my video from last night, I screwed up. I called it the Raw Women's Tag Team Titles, and it's, you know, for both brands. But what's funny about that is that on Raw, I watched back, and the graphic when the match was over and we had the new champions crowned, Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, the graphic read Raw Women's Tag Team Champions. So WWE screwed it up, and you know they're the millions of dollars of money that they have to have people on the ball and make sure that things don't get screwed up like that. So yeah, I don't feel so bad now. We had Shelton Benjamin asked about the 24/7 title, if he's going to go for the title, and Shelton just did his little looking around the room, and then he said, well, and then he walked off. And that was, again, the whole segment with Shelton Benjamin. We had a Firefly Funhouse segment with Husky the pig eating a bunch of candy, getting fat. We had Finn Balor referenced by Bray Wyatt, normal Bray Wyatt, not the Fiend Bray Wyatt. Normal Bray Wyatt said that Finn is very courageous, but it appears that his courage is really just ignorance in disguise. And then the mask came on, you know, all the scary stuff, and Fiend Bray Wyatt said, let me in once again. And that was the final hype for Bray Wyatt versus Finn Balor. By the way, if you go on twitter.com/AaronRift and retweet me, about Finn Balor defeating Bray Wyatt. If Finn Balor beats Bray Wyatt, and I'm being generous here, this includes a DQ or countout. So if Finn Balor wins by DQ, for instance, I will give away a free t-shirt to one person that retweets that. So if you haven't retweeted it yet, go to twitter.com/AaronRift and retweet it. And again, cheap plug, NoDQ.com/shirts. You can pick up the NoDQ Super Chat Championship t-shirt. Lots of merchandise on there. NoDQ mug, NoDQ hat, all sorts of things if you would like to support the website. And TR Sega with a 200 yen. I'm not sure what that denomination is of money. He says, why won't WWE push a guy to the moon in 2019? That's a great question. Maybe WWE just doesn't want to be at a level where there's a guy that has a lot of leverage. I mean, they have Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is the guy they're pushing to the moon, but he's the guy. There's not going to be another guy right now because maybe WWE just doesn't want a guy to be at that level. You know, they don't want to push, they don't want to put all their eggs in one basket, I guess is what I'm trying to say. They don't want to invest too much in any one person because they're trying to focus on the brand rather than building up one guy and then that guy gets too big and goes to AEW. Maybe that's the whole plan. Moving on here, we had a WWE 2K20 video. I think same thing from Monday Night Raw. We had Elias backstage confronting Chad Gable. I'm not sure what's going on with Chad Gable. I thought he was on 205 Live, but I guess he's still doing SmackDown segments. Basically, Elias made fun of him for being short. Elias said he thought he was talking to a child. And this really hurt me. This was like a low blow here. Elias said that, quote, short people got no reason to live. Ouch. Man, for me, that was just totally brutal. We had a video package with Kofi Kingston talking about his history with Randy Orton. Last week it was Randy Orton talking. This week it was Kofi Kingston. And I'm just like, man, we've had one too many video packages on this show. It was just, I was like almost going to go to this show. I was very tempted to do it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm doing Toronto. I'm doing TakeOver and SummerSlam. Do I really want to go to SmackDown and watch a show that probably will be filler? And that's pretty much exactly what it was. So no regrets about skipping out on SmackDown at the Little Caesars Arena in downtown Detroit. We had Kofi Kingston talking about how Randy Orton's influence was holding him back. And then he said that beating Randy Orton at SummerSlam will be vindication. And I'm like, time out here. Time out. I thought Randy Orton already lost to Kofi Kingston earlier this year in that gauntlet match. Kofi already beat Randy Orton. So why does he need vindication all of a sudden? I don't get it. Whatever. I mean, he could just say, I got unfinished business with the guy and I'm going to shut him up once and for all. Why did he have to say he needs to get vindication when he already beat the guy? I don't know. I thought it was kind of like, meh. And again, we had the whole video package last week with Orton. Did we really need basically the same thing being repeated, only with Kofi Kingston narrating it? Lazy stuff, in my opinion. So Vince McMahon reportedly rewrote this show again, just like last week. He rewrote the show last minute, and I don't know, like, this show felt terrible. So if Vince rewrote it, I'm wondering what the original show was. Like, could it have been that bad? I mean, this was not that good. This was pretty much just a throwaway show. Like, if you missed this SmackDown, you really did not miss much of anything. We did have the main event, which was, I guess, somewhat interesting. We had the New Day versus Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan. Rowan used the stairs on Xavier Woods to cause the disqualification. Bryan and Rowan beat them up afterwards, and then Roman Reigns appeared backstage walking. He went into the locker room. He confronted Buddy Murphy because Buddy Murphy was actually seen in a freeze frame, which I did post on NoDQ.com last week, and I guess WWE felt like they had to reference that. Maybe this was all part of their intentions, but I really don't give WWE that much credit. I wonder if Buddy Murphy was legitimately there by mistake and WWE had to make up for it and write it into the storyline. The current Super Chat champion as of this moment, this is a question from Pocahontas. The current champion is my man, Hank Schrader on the shitter. He's the current champion, and we'll see if somebody can take him out for that championship. Remember, $5 Super Chat will make you the new NoDQ Super Chat champion. So, speaking of that, right on cue here, Uthman Rules with a $5 Super Chat. So, Uthman Rules is the brand new NoDQ Super Chat champion of the world. A little bit of 3D there popping out from the t-shirt. Uthman Rules says, does it feel like Vince is always rewriting SmackDown more than Raw these days? Yeah, I don't know what's going on here, and my big problem with SmackDown is it just feels like Monday Night Raw 2.0. Now, I feel like maybe it's a lame duck period right now, and once SmackDown goes to Fox, things are going to change up, and we're going to see SmackDown be more of its own unique show, have its own identity. It's just SmackDown has no identity right now. It's back to where it was like circa 2011, 2012, right when the brand split, the first one, was coming to a close. It just feels like a waste of time. It's just Raw 2.0, you know? Not much to really get excited about these days, and basically the same guys are on SmackDown that are on Raw. Mike B says, how are the cats? Cats are doing great. Thank you for asking. So Roman confronted Buddy Murphy, and Buddy Murphy denied everything, says, I don't know what you're talking about. Reigns said that he's going to ask him one more time, and then Buddy Murphy's like, even if I knew the answer, I would not tell you a damn thing, Roman Reigns. To which Roman Reigns attacked him, beat the crap out of him, and asked him again who did it. Finally, after this beat down of Buddy Murphy, Murphy finally confessed and said it was Rowan. Rowan was the guy that did it. Daniel Bryan was apparently nowhere to be found. It was just Rowan. Meanwhile, we cut to the ring. Daniel Bryan and Rowan are just standing there. Roman Reigns is looking at the camera. He's shown on the Titantron, and SmackDown abruptly goes off the air. So this was the final build for SummerSlam. Are we getting Roman Reigns versus Eric Rowan at SummerSlam? I mean, it was not made clear. This was the cliffhanger, I guess. Now we got to stay tuned to WWE social media to find out who's going to be wrestling at SummerSlam, if it's going to be Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan, or Roman Reigns versus Eric Rowan, or Samoa Joe and Roman Reigns, the Joes versus Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan. And to me, this was pretty weak. I mean, this is the best cliffhanger you got. Like, if this was another week and not the go home for SummerSlam, I'd be like, yeah, this is an all right cliffhanger, but this is your final setup for SummerSlam, and you're not even making it clear what we're getting at SummerSlam? Yeah, I don't know. So let's go ahead and do the letter grade. I thought this was one of the weaker SmackDowns of the year. I mean, I was really bored with this show. Wasn't feeling it at all. Again, second week in a row, I thought Raw was better. I thought Raw was pretty solid, but this one, I really don't want to give SmackDown anything worse than a C-, but it's like right there for me between a C- and a D+. I mean, this was one of the weakest SmackDowns of the year in my opinion. So I'm gonna give it a C-, but I was not a big fan of this SmackDown. Like, they need to step it up with this show big time. Didn't do anything to make me more excited for SummerSlam. Let's just put it that way, and I'm going this Sunday. Caitlin gives it a D, so she was less generous than I was. Bradley with a C-, Dan E with a C, Harley with a C-, CC Drink with a C+, Pocahontas with a D-, Uthman Rules with a C, and Bradley with a C. Stanley Big with a D, Ma Wrestling with a C, Big G with a D minus, so Big G wasn't a big fan either. Hoof Hearted with an F minus. And speaking of Hoof Hearted is the brand new No DQ Super Chat Champion of the World. And Hoof Hearted says, did you know WWF No Mercy was supposed to have a sequel called WWF Backlash? It was canceled when the GameCube was announced. I did not know that. That would have been an awesome sequel to No Mercy, though. It's a shame that that never came to be. But I will say that the GameCube games were pretty good. Not really WrestleMania 18. To me, that game was kind of eh. But WrestleMania 19 and Day of Reckoning, to me, really hit the spot and were very solid follow-ups to No Mercy. So now, if you guys want to ask me anything about Raw, I did about an 18-minute recap of it last night. If there's anything you guys wanted me to comment on from Raw that maybe I didn't mention last night, go ahead and throw me some ideas. TR Sega with a 200 yen super chat. Is it yen? I'm not sure. More popular, Hogan and Rocky 3 or Roman Reigns and Hobbs? Well, I would say Hogan and Rocky 3. Rocky 3 was a huge franchise, and yeah, the Fast and Furious franchise is huge, and, you know, the spin-off is a big deal, but I think Rocky 3 really put Hogan on the map in Hollywood. I don't know if Roman Reigns in that movie is going to make Roman Reigns this huge movie star. You know, that moment where Hogan picks up Sylvester Stallone, like, that was iconic. I think that really did a lot for Hogan's star power. I don't think Roman Reigns in the Fast and Furious spinoff is going to make Roman Reigns this mega star. So, yeah, I got to go with Hogan and Rocky 3. Pocahontas says he loves my creativity. Well, thank you for that. So that was SmackDown. This coming weekend is the No DQ meetup. If you guys are going to be in Toronto, check it out. NoDQ.com/Toronto. You can RSVP for the meetup. Please do if you plan on showing up, just so I have an accurate idea of who is showing up. Kayfabe Candy S says it's not even close to being close. Rocky 3. I agree. It's got to be Rocky 3. A JS Pin 401 says, should Bray rename the Mandible Claw the Yowie Wowie? He might as well. I mean, you might as well capitalize on that. Everyone likes that phrase, so why not? I'm all for it. Hoof Hearted with a $5 super chat. So Hoof Hearted, brand new, No DQ super chat champion of the world. Got to strum that championship just like Hollywood Hogan. He says, which game was the worst idea to you, WCW Backstage Assault or WWE Crush Hour? I am not familiar with Crush Hour. I did play Backstage Assault, and that game was not good. To me, the good WCW games were the N64 ones with THQ, WCW versus NWO World Tour, and then WCW versus NWO Revenge. Those two games were great. The other ones, not so much. I don't even remember Crush Hour. Wasn't it something completely off the wall compared to the normal WWE video game? I just don't remember it at all, really. Backstage Assault, I just wasn't a fan of. Pocahontas says, I like this new format, by the way. I do not mind the vertical angle. Well, I'm glad you guys like it for the most part. It seems like people are fine with this format. I'm just, as someone who likes to watch videos on the computer and on TV, like, I'm not a fan of the vertical videos, but apparently I can't do a horizontal video on YouTube right now. And it's just my own personal No DQ channel. My other channel, my personal channel, that one is fine, no problems whatsoever. I'm hoping this weekend I can figure it out. Otherwise, I may have to do the live stream on the other channel. By the way, again, plug for that, youtube.com/AaronRift. And of course, I will keep people posted. So make sure you're following me on social media for updates. Twitter.com/AaronRift, Twitter.com/NoDQ, DOTCOM. And if you're on Facebook, Facebook.com/NoDQ, DOTCOM. Mike Garcia with a $2 super chat says, do you love The Rock and thoughts on why WWE sucks? Well, I love The Rock, of course. Dwayne Johnson, one of the greatest of all time, one of the most entertaining personalities in the history of WWE. He's right up there. In my opinion, best promo in the business. One of the most charismatic. Let me try that again. One of the most charismatic. Wow, three times the charm. Charismatic guys in the history of wrestling, right up there with Hulk Hogan. And why does WWE suck? I mean, sometimes it doesn't suck. It doesn't suck all the time, but when it does, bad writing, bottom line, just not compelling television. I mean, there's no other way to put it. There's lots of little issues, but the big problem to me is just that the shows are not very compelling compared to how they were in a different era, and it's just getting worse, it seems. Pocahontas is like, LOL, Aaron with a funny botch. Any other thoughts on Raw? I know I did the recap of Raw from last night, but I wasn't doing the live video. So anybody in the chat, okay, let me get letter grades from you guys from Raw. I actually thought Raw was a really solid show. I gave it a B, which might be a bit generous for Raw. I'm curious to know what you guys thought about Raw. So in the chat room, give me a letter grade from Monday Night Raw. I just want to see where I compare with you guys when it comes to the letter grade for Raw. Big G gave it a B. Gameson 100 gave it a B. Bradley gave it a B minus. Michael Wayne gave it a C. Jeremy Dorset said A minus for Raw. SmackDown Live C minus. Kayfib Candy Ass gave it a C plus. Chris Mace gave it a B. And Mike B gave it a C. CC Drink gave it a B plus. So overall, it looks like you guys pretty much agree with me that Raw was a better show than SmackDown this week, which really doesn't happen that often. But I mean, that's what's going to happen when SmackDown is more or less just a recap of Raw and Raw 2.0. Oofman Rules with a $5 super chat. Oofman Rules says, if you were a writer for WWE and Vince kept, quote, ripping up the script, would you stay or quit? 24-time champion, Raw grade B from Oofman Rules. Well, thank you for that, Oofman Rules, and you are the brand new NoDQ Super Chat champion. So congratulations, my friend. If I was a writer for WWE, first of all, I would probably blow my brains out just from the stress of working for WWE. I don't think I could handle it, quite frankly. Yeah, I mean, it would not be a fun work environment if Vince just overturned whatever ideas you came up with and you put in the time and then Vince is like, nope, I don't like it. But that's what happens when you're working for Vince. You got to answer to him, and it's his say at the end of the day. It would not be fun. It would not be a fun gig. I suppose if the money was good, then cool, whatever. But for some people, like, they actually want to be able to do their jobs as well as they can, and they want some satisfaction with their jobs. They just don't want to collect the paycheck. Mike D says, how much do you think the WWE writers get paid? I don't know, but I would think that it's not anything all that significant compared to the talents. And considering WWE has a ton of writers and they're very interchangeable, probably not a whole lot. Because if one of them doesn't write for Vince and Vince doesn't approve of their writing, then WWE can just replace that guy with somebody else and just add that guy to the list of 20, 30 writers, how many people they have there. And Kayfabe Candy Ass says, welcome back, Bischoff. Yeah, pretty much. And Pocahontas says, Oofman continues to steal the show. Mike Garcia with the $2 super chat says, why doesn't WWE try anymore? No pride in the product? Because WWE is first and foremost a business. They are trying to make money, and making money is more important than producing a creatively satisfying show. They're just trying to run a business. They're not concerned with how can we make the most captivating show possible. They have a format, they have a formula, and they just like to stay on the treadmill and just do what they think is best for their business and not take any unnecessary chances. Mike D says, where's Braun Strowman? Braun Strowman is not on the SummerSlam card, so they're not using him right now. And maybe that's for the best. I mean, again, not everybody has to be on SummerSlam. I'd rather we had like 8 matches on the card that were really solid, give them all a good amount of time, instead of having 12, 13, 14 matches, and a bunch of those matches have very little build-up, and they're only designed to get as many people on the card as possible. I am much more a proponent of having fewer matches with more time given to them and better storyline build-up and whatnot. And, cycle guys in and out. Strowman doesn't have to be on every single pay-per-view. All right, so it looks like nobody's got any other opinions on Raw, so I will go ahead and wrap up this live stream. I'm glad that at least I could get it done here in portrait mode. We'll see what happens this weekend. If there's no video on this channel this weekend, make sure you're staying tuned to the NoDQ Twitter and Facebook. I will have a link up. There will be live streams this weekend, one way or another. They will be up, and I will get them done. So thank you all for your support. Buy a shirt, NoDQ.com/shirts, NoDQ.com for the very latest regarding SummerSlam. And for those of you that will be in Toronto, I'll see you guys there. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for supporting. Have a great night, everyone.